Hello again. We are going to be looking at word problems now that use the Pythagorean theorem that we talked about last week. So, we're going to have a word problem. We're going to have to design and draw a triangle, a right triangle, in order to solve for one of the things of the sides. So, let's start with the first one here. It says, a zip line is set up across a canyon that is 200 meters wide and 40 meters deep. How far do you travel to get from the top of one side to the bottom of the other side? So the best way to start these is to go ahead and just draw a picture. So for instance, we're looking at a canyon, so there's one side, and here's the other side. Actually, I'm going to need a little more room, so I'm going to move this here. Okay, and now it says that the canyon is 200 meters wide. So that means from here to here is going to be 200 meters. And it also says that our canyon is 40 meters deep. So we're going to say from here to here is 40 meters. And that is because it's 40 meters deep. So there's two things, and now what we're trying to find is that it says to find how far do you travel to get from the top of one side to the bottom of the other side. So what we're really trying to find is, what is this distance? How far are we going to travel across this canyon to get from that start point to the ending point? And you can see that by drawing this, we now have a right triangle. So if you remember, our a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where c is always the hypotenuse. And it doesn't matter which ones we use for a and b. So the hypotenuse here is going to be this green side, because that is the side that is opposite of the right angle. So there's the right angle, the side that's opposite is our hypotenuse. And so if we look at this hypotenuse, we need to know how many meters this is. So if we set this up, we have 200 squared plus 40 squared equals our hypotenuse, which we're going to call our c squared. So now I just have to go through a calculator to do this. So I get 40,000 for that one, plus 1,600 equals c squared. That gives me 41,600 equals c squared. Now I take the square root to get rid of that squared sign. And on the calculator, the square root of 41,600 is 203.96. Which equals c. And so if I round that, it becomes roughly 204 equals c, so we go 204 meters. That is how far we are going to travel. So again, the idea is to draw a picture of what it's describing and then finding out that missing side. And it'll always be with the right triangle, because that's what we need for Pythagorean theorem. So let's go to the next one. And feel free, like I said before, to always pause if you want to try doing these yourself along with me, because we're only going to do 2 problems here today. So on this one, it says a plane takes off and travels 15,000 feet diagonally to get to 5,000 feet off the ground. How far has it traveled along the ground? So my plane starts here, and it says it's going diagonally, so it's going upwards in the sky as it's taking off. And it says that it travels 15,000 feet diagonally. Okay? So that is 15,000 feet. And it also says that it's 5,000 feet off the ground. So that means we've traveled 5,000 feet upwards, and we're trying to figure out how far has it traveled along the actual ground? Well, that makes a right triangle. And again, the pieces we got were 15,000 feet diagonally. And then we had 5,000 feet off the ground. So how high up it is in the air. And we're trying to figure out how far has it traveled along the ground. So again, we have our right triangle. The hypotenuse is going to be 15,000 feet because, again, that is the diagonal across from the right triangle. So this will be my hypotenuse, which we call our C in that formula. And then we also have the 5,000 feet up, which is one of the sides. And so we're just going to call that our A side. Again, it doesn't matter if it's A or B, it'll still get the same answer. So you just have to choose one of those. And so now I have 5,000 squared plus B squared, because that's my unknown along the ground, is equal to 15,000 squared. And so in our calculator, we're going to go ahead and square those. So 5,000 squared is a big number. It's going to be 25 million plus b squared equals 15,000 squared, which is another big number. It's 225 million. Okay, and so now we're going to subtract. So I subtract my 25 million from both sides. And I get b squared equals 200 million. And again, we're going to take the square root of everything because we got to get b by itself. And so if I do that in my calculator, I do 200 million, I take the square root. We get b is equal to 14,142.14. That's after rounding. So it has gone 14,142.14 feet along the ground. And that would be our answer here. That's what that green section is up on the triangle. Okay, so essentially what we're doing here in review is we're going to look at the problem and we're going to decide which pieces have been given to us, whether it's the hypotenuse or the two legs, whatever it is. You just have to draw the picture as to your best knowledge and then solve for one of those missing sides. And today's assignment is going to have 4 problems that look very similar to this. So you just have to really pay attention to see what you're drawing and where those pieces go in. And then once you have all those pieces, we just have to use our a squared plus b squared equals c squared to find that missing side. And again, these are always going to make right triangles because that's what we need for the Pythagorean theorem. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to email me or write on that Google Doc for the office hours so other people can see your questions as well, because I'm sure people have very similar ones. Good luck, and let me know, like I said, if you have anything or any issues.